Well, hey everybody. It's Monday. It's Monday, February 6th, 2023, and I'm in Bellevue, Tennessee. Why? Because it's a city in between those oceans and the good old US of A. That's why. Traveling around like always. I was in Mississippi yesterday. Man, makes me want to podcast about other things. This is a podcast, so we are going to talk about sports here, but I like to talk about experiences as well because I mean, if I'm not going to get paid on YouTube ever, if I'm going to be banned for life from ads, I may as well do what I'm doing, which is podcast for the fun of it, which is what I've always been doing. So, yeah, I was in Mississippi. It's so bad there that you can't get fountain drinks or like coffee at gas stations and stuff. Any public place, the water is so bad that I think they're fear lawsuits or public health or whatever. It just makes me think about all the other problems I want to solve in the world. Like, for example, there are ways to decentralize your water source system. One of the world's geniuses, Dean Kamen, up in New Hampshire, I believe he has his company, and where he flies his helicopter himself back and forth to wherever he wants to go. Dean Kamen, who created the Segway, a lot of other medical, electronic, digital type devices, and analog too. But point is, he has a product called the Slingshot, and there are other deviations of this, which is essentially a water purifier where I believe it distills the water as well. I believe it boils it. Very complicated thing, but it uses limited energy, and it looks like a big old huge, almost like a third of a container ship size, like rectangle. These type of things, you can feed any type of water into them, and what you're going to get out is drinkable, usable water. And it just makes me think about ways that I want to decentralize not only the grid by powering everything with solar and storing in batteries, but also decentralizing water so that you can have clean water all anywhere you need to be, give you some self-sufficiency in a storm, hurricanes, damage, things like that, where you can't get power, can't get running water. These are solutions to those problems because they are independent. So like there's no reason you can't have a huge solar array and a big huge slingshot water purifier thing going on in every town. And I mean, it could be part of a HOA community thing where you can go get water if there's a problem. I mean, there's really ways to solve this that are incredible. um I got a pickup truck next to me that's trying to do some weird stuff. Let me tell you, in the South, I got more to talk about before we get to sports. First of all, if you're going anywhere near Memphis, get ready for crazy police presence in every freaking direction. I have never the last time I saw that many unmarked cars pulling people over, I was outside of DC because they were doing like the State of the Union or something like that, or everybody was in town because I mean, wow, just wow. Anyway, it's been a busy trip. So, other than let's talk about yesterday, we will finally get to sports. I just have to vent the travel across country. There's so much I want to do, and it's unrelated to sports. So, even though we're not monetizing on YouTube, you can go over to Twitter, follow me there, and we'll build the presence on Twitter, and we'll get to where we need to go. Anyway, um, okay. So yesterday's college basketball for a second. I was in Tulsa at the Hard Rock in Tulsa at 5 a.m. This is not exactly how it looked on this day because some of it got changed. But I was picking up girls in their 20s. So funny. I'm honored they even talked to me at my age. If you added the two of their ages together, if you saw that video, Ellie and Danny, it equals my age this year. Uh, very funny stuff. No, they were super nice. All kidding aside, they were super nice. They're smart, and they were willing to do a little YouTube video. And in that YouTube video, at 5 a.m. at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, um, I said do only one thing because I was sorting this by line value. And there's three line value picks here now, but there wasn't three line value picks. It was only Colorado. So in that video, I said only take Colorado. Made it super quick and easy, because I got ladies there that are going to get up and leave. Got to make the video short, right? Colorado crushed it and covered no problem. So that worked out well, even though it wasn't a great day otherwise. Quinnipiac lost. That's a big one that you would have thought would have won at a terrible line. Anyway, so that was yesterday. It wasn't a great day. That was Sunday. So let's talk about Monday. I have already looked this over. I had to charge my laptop. That's why I pulled over in Bellevue, Tennessee at the Panera, which was fantastic. They had a variety of music I'm not used to hearing. Excellent stuff. Super nice, great area. Um, Other than the crazy pickup truck that's next to me doing weird stuff when nobody should be parking near me. I don't know. What can you do? Tales of the YouTube celebrity. All right, so let's talk about yeah, so I had to charge the battery to the computer to do this video, and I was able to look over everything. And because I'm in Tennessee, I was also able to make a wager. So I'll tell you what I did. And while I know that basically all of my instincts are always wrong, so if I get the urge to bet something, run away from it. I mean, put the don't actually do this, but put the title to the house down on something. If I disagree with the algorithm, like I really like Alcorn State or something, yeah, just bet against it. So I'm trying to now that's a joke, but it's also kind of true. I really have terrible instincts. So if for some reason I'm reading the algorithm wrong, just know that. And I was thinking about saying, like, do I agree with the algorithm here? What's my instinct, right? So let's talk about what happens today. All right. You got, there's three big ones on here that I took. First of all, Northern Arizona really spoke to me out here. Northern Arizona is only minus 174. Their margin with a 5% bump is still above the 6%, right? Totally chill. That looks really, really good. It's a home team. You're going up against an injured team. It was a value pick, I believe, as well. When we look over at our value picks, let's hide some stuff we don't need to see. I love people next to me to be like, dude, what is this lunatic doing in his car with his computer talking about value picks? They must laugh. Oh, all right. So I believe Northern Arizona is, yeah, they're a value pick here. So that was the one that, because one thing I have learned doing this so many years is that it's very difficult to find a narrow, excellent game. Like it's not that easy, and there aren't 12 every day. Even on a day when college basketball has 142 games, it's still tough to find 10 really, really, really good ones. So you have to be really picky if you want to win more, like do all the factors. And in Northern Arizona, as much as I do like it, I don't want to say the L word, it's got all the markings of a team that wins here. There's nothing on here other than Northern Arizona's power, which is only at 33%. So they're basically not a really good team. They're an okay team. But that's the one on there that I said, all right, that really looks like the pick of the day. Now, there's some other things that are playable, and I did play them. I took Miami over Duke. And if I lose a game, it's going to be because of my instinct here. Now, they are a really good team at 71% power over here. Mouse doesn't totally work right when I'm recording, but that 71% power means they're an excellent team. Duke is, of course, Duke and good. They've been playing okay. The injuries here on Duke, I wouldn't worry about. I think they had some people leave or something. There's some kind of like long-term injuries there that are not really affecting them. And they also have a really deep bench because they're Duke. So this is a game I took where it is on here, but notice that we have a 5% home bump right now. So they would actually favor Duke if this was at a neutral site game because the margin's only 3.2 after we added 5 to the home team. Whoa, I didn't mean to press that. Now, so I took Miami, but it's not super, super strong. The other one I took was I looked at this underdog that popped up here at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Now, I got to warn you, my instinct is to bet them to win. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm like, I've won with Arkansas Pine Bluff before. Like, they're an okay team. Jackson State, apparently, really bad. I think Deion Sanders left, right? Is that where he was coaching football? So they're not a really good team and only 31%, but it's still giving them a 9% margin here with a 5%. We're taking away 5%. So it's really 14.4% is their margin. It's not quite 20, but I took them plus 3.5 is what it had moved to already. I took them plus 3.5 because it's still just a pretty good margin. And look at me kind of liking that team. So once again, I got the instinct to like them. So they're probably going to lose, but the algorithm also says they win. So the algorithm gets about half of its away teams right. And that one at least has an underdog line. So I wanted to throw that on there. And those are the three I took. Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 3.5. I took Northern Arizona to win, and I took Miami, Florida to win. And I contemplated taking Holy Cross, but they're such an awful team at 20% that it's just a battle of two miserable teams. And I thought, stay away. Of course, because I said that they will probably win. So my instinct was not to take Holy Cross, so bet them. Right. Other than that, you don't have really good lines and you got to waste stuff. When you come to home value picks, which ones are there? There are only two, and it's Northern Arizona and Holy Cross. but Holy Cross is an extremely bad team at 20%. Notice they are the lowest power ranked team of these home teams on the list. That is absolutely something you should look at. So it's certainly a game that doesn't win 80% of the time like the other ones. It probably wins like 55 or 60% of the time off the top of my head. So that's college basketball. And those are the three games it took there. Now let's go over to hockey because hockey season got off All-Star break and they came back. Some of my streaking and stuff over here is not accurate because I left some games out. So I almost want to hide it because it's going to throw us off a little bit, but we could leave it, but we'll hide it for now. And maybe we'll open it up by the end of the video. Let's talk about just raw projections. Says pretty good line for Tampa Bay, who should beat Florida. That's an acceptable line. My instinct is to take Tampa Bay because I think Florida's not as good this year. Bobrovsky has not been playing as well as he used to. Tampa Bay's still strong. Like that's a pretty good pick. Philly and the Islanders, this is more of a toss-up game where it thinks the Islanders will win. But notice their power is only 43 and they're going up against the 34. So they're more mediocre. And I think I haven't been impressed completely with what I've seen out of the Islanders. And even though Philly will lose games and started off strong, but hasn't picked it up, they're not a dominating team, I guess. So I left that one off. I did take Tampa Bay. Then there's the Jersey and Vancouver situation. This comes out as the number one pick of the day because it thinks Vancouver is really not very good. They have the new coach. Jersey, it is pretty good, but the line is awful here. I took Jersey -1.5 simply because you got a 63%. When you look at the raw adjusted powers, they're the highest one. Vanecek's been playing really well. The team should win a game about 4-1, 4 or 5-1, apparently. So instead of trying to pay that -245, I threw it on a round robin with the other stuff at -1.5. Hockey's hockey, and I expect to be surprised and not win games in hockey. It's not like college basketball, but I'm going to be driving forever. So I was like, I got to listen to some games. Let's let you know. And I won money on Saturday when I was just driving. I made a bet in Colorado, the last state I think I could wager in before I got to Tennessee. And I won, and I have like a few $100s in there. And what I usually do in that situation is pull some out and try to bank some profit. But I'm like, it's a couple $100, and I haven't really tried taking premium stuff and throwing that together with much more expensive round robins. And given that the YouTube channel is not going to get monetized, and I got to do something with this if we're going to do videos, I was like, why not try betting big? If I keep winning, so I'll just keep parlaying my $100 that I usually put in there on it. I'll lose $100 in a day and not hate my life. I can't lose $1,000 in a day. I will hate my life if I do that. Even if I lose 500, I will be disgusted and want to get away from it. But I guess not if I built it up and put in 100 a week ago, just kept betting round robins with just premium picks, and I got it up to 500, and I started betting 500 a day. I think I can do that without getting too nutty. But I do have a gambling problem, so there's that. So let's keep going. But I threw 7 on a round robin. I'm telling you what they were. So they were the 3 college basketball picks. Tampa Bay to win. I took Jersey -1.5. That's the 5th pick now. I took the Rangers because I personally think Calgary sucks. So here's one where I'm probably going to lose. Although the algorithm says the Rangers win, it's Halak, not Shesterkin, I believe. I don't know if he's confirmed. It's a later game, so hopefully they'll throw Shesterkin in there, which would point it even more in the direction of the Rangers, in my opinion, and the algorithm's opinion. But I could double check, but it doesn't matter. I made the bet. All right, so I bet the Rangers because I saw this reasonable line, and I think Calgary's not very good. I didn't do anything in this game. Probably should have taken Dallas -1.5, but the line just, a -400, which is essentially what this was for Dallas, is absurd for a hockey game, a professional hockey game. Let's just be clear. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to throw a straight bet on Anaheim, especially when you have a cash out option in the middle of the game, because all they got to do is get up 1-0 and you're doubling your money. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And while they probably won't get up 1-0, once in a while, half the time they'll have a lead in a game like this. So it's kind of like, this is absurd. And my instinct was to stay away from it. So obviously Dallas will win 4-0 probably. And the last one was Minnesota and Arizona. And here what I did is I don't have a lot of respect for Fleury's goaltending anymore. And Arizona can occasionally score some goals. So I saw this coming up at 5.8 or 6.4 potential goals. And I took an alternate over 5.5, thinking that there's just going to be some goals here. And 3-2 turns into 4-2 when you round it. Empty nets. You get a 3-3 tie when So I did an over 5.5, not a 6, because I have it on a round robin and I want a decision on the game. I want a hook in there and not just a raw number because I don't like pushes on round robins. So I took the alternate over 5.5 at like minus 150. So those are my 7 picks. The alternate over there, the Rangers to win, Devils minus 1.5, Tampa Bay to win, and the 3 college basketball picks here of Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 3.5. It's not 4.5. Miami, Florida over Duke. And the pick of the day, really, according to the algorithm, the value pick of the day for sure is Northern Arizona. And so if Northern Arizona loses this game, I would double check what happens with injuries on Idaho State, whether people came back. But even so, even without the 5% bump, you see what this looks like. You make this a 0% bump. Northern Arizona is still going to be on this list, and I believe they are the only home value pick available. They're not even considered a value pick at no bump. How about that? Because the line changes. Interesting. Interesting. So with no home bump, they're only at minus 114. Wow. So the bump affects the line because our implied lines change when I bump it because it changes the scores. The home bump is really a fascinating thing because it's appropriate and it's one of these variables that we we don't necessarily have a hard number on what it should be. I know it's somewhere between 5 and 20, but it's absolutely need to be there because home teams totally win more. And it's shown by our historical home and away win percentages. Which is why I have said you almost never want to bet on an away team. And me taking Arkansas Pine Bluff is only because of the line situation here. And if I lose this game, I'm going to be like, shouldn't have taken an away team. At least I took them plus 3.5 to try because I think it'll be close. But you never want to take them. Like the only thing that makes you want to take away teams is the lines offered on them, and that should not necessarily be a reason why you're picking a winner. You should be picking winners because they're supposed to win, not because their line is good. So that's my dissertation on sports from Bellevue, Tennessee. Continuing on, and follow the Twitter. Tell your friends to follow the Twitter. I think we went up the Spraps Twitter account, which I still don't have my blue check mark. I paid them, but they're still reviewing it, I guess. So hopefully that will happen soon. But we're up to like 35 followers. I think we went from 7 to 35 in the couple days I've been driving. That's 5 times as many as we started with. And so I appreciate it, and tell your friends, anybody who's interested in sports, retweet it, resend it, do all those things. As we migrate over to Twitter for a lot of the content. One of the things that, I did today in the previous tweet was put the snapshots of this up without a video. That's something I can do much faster, obviously, than making a video. And there are positive impacts to that being part of a tweet, which is now being essentially monetized or monitored. So what Twitter is doing, and I trust Elon. I like Elon. I mean, a lot of people politically, I'm not on the right, but I like Elon, and I think he's heart is in the right place. I think he gets mischaracterized a lot, and he believes that Twitter is worth the time, and I understand why. So, given the opportunity now that YouTube will never, ever, ever, ever pay me anything ad wise for all the content I have put there, it makes sense to go try something else. And Elon, just good timing, just made it available the day after I found out that I will never, ever, ever have ads ever on any of my 2000 videos plus. Anyway, okay. Enough of me complaining. Good luck, everyone. I hope all your picks win. We'll monitor my bankroll and see if I can. I mean, it could be kind of fun if I catch a few days of winning in a row. Then there could be some days where I'm betting thousands of dollars on the premium picks of the day, and we might have really something to talk about. I mean, through all the years of doing this, I have never in my life bet more than $500 on any one thing, and it was one baseball game at the MGM and under. That was like 2 years ago. I just don't have the stomach for betting a lot, but maybe that's not doing this right, not being confident with it. Is not where I am. I actually am quite confident with what the algorithm is doing. There used to be times years ago where I would look back at the algorithm and I would update it and be like, man, I wish I'd never looked at it. Like things would have been better if I never looked at the algorithm. I haven't said that in so long because it's never the case. Meaning I just am upset that I didn't update an injury report for something because it gave me new information that I could have acted on. It's never the other way around anymore. It's never the algorithm pointed me in a terrible direction that I wasn't thinking about. It's just does. It's just so good. So we'll go that route and we'll do it. And I'll get back on the road and I'll get to another state We'll eventually be on the East Coast. All right. Good luck, everyone. I hope your picks won yesterday, and I hope they win today. And I'll be listening to some hockey on the road. Good luck.